according to what you and Ellen have developed so far, more effort is actually needed in the industrial cybersecurity sector. So to enhance this part, what do you recommend companies do if they want to start, but they have a limited amount of resource? How would you recommend them to start? Helen, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, I think the first step is to build cases for your IT-OT integration before embarking on the journey. Factors such as regulatory context or the age of your assets will make your IT-OT integration program very different. So to identify the goal and gaps to be filled is important. Then to select the vendor to help you meet your needs and your future roadmap. When selecting a vendor, make sure that you had evaluated your IT-OT integration needs correctly. It's also to select a vendor who follows the approach of security by design to well prepare the new technology in the future and the dynamic demand. The last step is to employ redundancy to guarantee security. A malicious attack today to IT environment will also pivot to OT part if the latter is not protected well. And we also believe that disruptive attack will be more serious in the future, just like a case we had seen in early 2020. The ransomware attack shut down a natural gas compressor station for totally 2 days and caused really serious operational issue. So we have to ensure the redundant layer of OT security are in place to control the damage when security issue happens.
Okay, thank you, Helen, for your wonderful illumination. So basically, based on what you just said, the first step is to clearly define your IT-OT integrations, and then while considering regulations, also the asset life cycles, right? And you also said to identify the gap and to fill in the gap. Yeah. And this includes choosing the right vendors, yes, and also choosing things that have redundancy, right? So what do you think, Sever? Do you suggest businesses to start from what Helen said? What is your take on this?
I personally suggest to select one cybersecurity framework and try sticking to it as best as can, because this would guarantee that you wouldn't skip any important step, and also everything that you do to improve cybersecurity, all these additional countermeasures, they would work well together in the end. Okay, so for the first step, probably in every cybersecurity framework you would find a risk assessment. And it may sound a little bit difficult, but it's actually not necessary to employ external consultants to help with this step in the very beginning, because the basic risk assessment could be done internally by the team that you already have. And the idea is very simple. You need to figure out what are the most critical vulnerabilities in your systems with the most big impact, and focus all the limited resources to in order to mitigate those vulnerabilities. And as a result, maybe some countermeasures would be implemented in the system. But the main idea is that when you do something for cybersecurity, you should have a clear understanding why you are doing this. So that would guarantee the effectiveness. And luckily, we have a lot of online resources, just like our show, to help people with this new area. And it also wouldn't hurt to ask vendors for their advice. At least vendors can explain what their take on cybersecurity, what's their view on cybersecurity solution. And if you check and compare, then you can easily navigate through this new area. Mm-hmm. So in short, to make a wise choice, that's the best way to save the money.
Very interesting. You mentioned to make a wise choice is the best way to save money. I think that's very, very well said. So Sever, have you made any wise choices lately? Apparently coming to the show is one of the wise choices, right? We have experts here who have insights from the industry. They bring their expertise and share with us what they see from the market. So good choice to come here, right? All right, so enough sidetracking. Let's come back. So I have two more questions, one for Helen and one for Sever. So for Helen, we see that one of the myths in cybersecurity is that everybody believes that once I deploy a firewall, my network is air-gapped. They kind of take firewall as a very secure device, and once they secured it, then there's nothing else to be done. So it's kind of like the silver bullet. So if customers are asking this, what do you think about this? Do you think there's a silver bullet in cybersecurity? Is a firewall enough?
Yeah, I think basically flat network and the low visibility in OT environment today are very common. So which means threat can easily move horizontally. So it's very hard to build a central threat monitor or alert system in this situation. So I think for short term, we suggest to segment the network within the OT environment, combine with firewalls to realize defense in depth to minimize the impact of damage. For long term, we think that to increase the visibility in OT environment will be very helpful to strengthen the capability of OT security incident response. This will also make the cybersecurity deployment more proactive.
Thank you, Helen. So basically, horizontal movement protection is very, very important.
Yeah.
So much so that it should be achieved through multi-layer protection, and also you mentioned the distributed deployment, right? I see. So Sever, my question to you is, we often hear the buzzword zero trust. So can zero trust be applied to IACS, the industrial automation control systems? If so, what are the potential challenges that these customers might face? And what other things should they consider before implementing this mechanism?
Sure, that's definitely another buzzword, and I think the short answer is yes, it could be applied. However, the devil is in the details as usual. So I actually recommend checking out a recent NIST publication. It is called SP800-207, and it is exactly a publication about the Zero Trust Network architecture. And if you read it, you would realize that it's not only one way how you can achieve this Zero Trust architecture. There are actually several ways. And the most common way, which is advocated by IT vendors, is to have smarter edge devices with very advanced cybersecurity implemented directly in the end device. And from OT vendor perspective, I think it's a little bit challenging because, in OT environment, the OT environment itself is harsh. So that means a lot of electromagnetic disturbances. It means different, temperature fluctuations, which actually results in a particular component picking by vendors. So vendors in OT, they simply cannot use the latest and greatest CPUs and have a lot of computing power in the edge. So I think this kind of approach is a little bit difficult. At least it would take time, to be implemented. So there is another way to implement the Zero Trust architecture, which is through microsegmentation. And I believe this could be a faster way to achieving this kind of, Zero Trust architecture approach.
All right, thank you, Sever. Thank you for pointing out that in the OT industry, the environment is very, very different from what ITs are used to. So the harsh environment includes EMC disruption, wide temperature, different temperature fluctuations, and also it's very specific on hardware requirements. So you mentioned that the most convenient way for OT to achieve zero trust is through microsegmentation, right?
Yeah.
All right, so segmentation has been popping up around the show today. I heard a lot of segmentation, network segmentation, microsegmentation. So I guess it's time for me to do some segmentation of today's show. So Helen and Sever, thank you very much for coming to the show. I really appreciate the perspectives and the insights that you bring to the show. And I'm sure that our audience learned a lot as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. So in case you're still wondering what this show is, what is it talking about? This is Moxa Security Talks, where all the industrial experts come to the show and we talk about industrial cybersecurity, we talk about the trend. So if you wish to follow us, please follow us on YouTube, where we will invite more experts to each of our shows. And the best thing is, it's all for free. My name is Jesse, I'm the host. Thank you.